Hello everyone, and welcome back to Journey to Ragnarok, a campaign of mythical proportions. Last we left off, the party took part in a lovely bout of combat against two of Odin's champions, the twin Valkyries. They managed to defeat the Valkyries, granting them a meeting with Odin where they can ask the All-Father a single question each. After the bout, I will take us to Asgard. After the bout, Odin has flagged you all down and is beginning to walk back to his own hall at the top of this map here, as he says, let us go somewhere more private for this conversation. If you would follow me.
Yep, Gwen is immediately in step, just kind of enthralled, just like staring at the giant Asgardian. Like,
yeah, he is
we're
large.
really here.
He is a mixture of compared to the one god that you could say isn't that large would have been Loki, whereas Heimdall and Odin, they're both tall and broad, clad in armor. Loki was more just tall rather than wide. Very lanky.
Mage,
yes.
Not barbarian.
But Odin begins bringing you back to his own hall, where he begins bringing you through room, and it's much larger on the inside than it is the outside. As not only was there that giant dining hall, but he also brings you through like a small little hunting room with various trophies. He walks through doors and upstairs, and you're following him. And Gwen, you actually notice as you're following him, he's beginning to take you all through vast swaths of books upon books upon books upon books upon scrolls upon books. Until
basically drooling as they're walking.
Until
Probably
eventually, yeah, you're maybe left behind a little bit.
100%.
Until eventually he brings you all to a single room where high above him, almost as a diorama, are globes showcasing the various realms. As I shall bring you to the primary place of Odin's Grand Library. Each of these little shadows are one of the many realms above you. And Odin turns around and looks at all of you and says, "So, what would you ask of the All-Father?"
I think Tobias knows that Gwen is the most excited to ask.
Yeah, as soon as Odin gets that phrase out, Gwen just instantly blurts out, "May I read some of your books?" Like as just squeal of just joy as she's surrounded in basically like the library of her dreams.
You see Odin lets out like this loud barrel-chested laugh as he holds out one of his hands. His other hand holds his spear Gungnir, but he lets out his hand in like a swathing motion and says, "Go forth, young Gwyn."
Oh, she sprints off. Just pew bye. Gone.
How could you be fourth if she was the first?
Ah, Gudrun, do you have a question? Or is that your question?
Jesus Christ.
I am more than welcome to answer it, of course.
Gudrun kind of like looks confused. I think I'll hold off for a minute.
So then, Ezekiel, Master Dwarf, or young Tobias, who's next?
Oh, Toba can go first.
Very well. I merely ask for a little information to help us with the task that has been given to us. The land of the dwarves, or perhaps among the armory here, where can I find a weapon stronger than what I have now? Or perhaps the materials to forge a weapon stronger than what I have now?
It is rather timely that you ask this question, Tobias, as I had plans to outfit each of you with a godly armory before sending you on your quest.
This is great news. I mean, if I think of any other questions, if you would entertain the questions, then I will ask, but I am content for now, and we'll just make sure that the lovely Gwen over there doesn't get lost in the passages and lose track of time.
He chuckles again. And then he looks down once more at Gudrun and Ezekiel.
Oh, Gudrun, do you got a question?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a cop-out, but I feel like my question needs to be, why don't I have a good question? What? But that's not a very good question, as previously mentioned. Do you have something? I got nothing.
I have a question, but it might be a bit more, motto, beard man to beard man.
He just looks down at you, waiting for the question. Strokes his beard.
Okay. Odin, how do I undo them?
Oh, that is an interesting question. I will answer this question, Master Dwarf, but I hope you understand it may not be something that you would wish to hear.
Much as I mean to be polite, I need not your advice. I believe the reward was an answer to a question, and I've asked. Or are you not a man of your word?
You hear a voice in your head. It is Odin's. And I'm gonna whisper you what he says.
That works.
Interesting.
Remind me one more time the question?
How do I undo them?
Yes, of course. Assuming you are talking about what I think you're talking about. And if my answer isn't what we were talking about, we'll go back. We'll circle back.
We'll circle back. It's fine. I'll be like, sorry, there's a miscommunication.
Yeah. You know what? Let me, Gudrun, give me your question while I do something.
I mean, the cool weapon thing sounds good. I'll accept that as well. Maybe I should be more original. Why am I here?
God, as original as original can be.
Why do I exist?
What good am I?
Why do? What do?
What is my purpose? Tell me,
What
Odin.
doing?
Tell me right now.
I sent
What
you
doing, Odin?
I sent you a message, Velvet.
Oh, good, yes.
Check that out on Discord.
So sorry.
I want to give you some, like, prophetic thing, but I feel like Odin would hit you with the simple because you were destined to.
Okay, maybe. How did I get here?
Well, when a mother and a father.
Never mind. Ask
Okay.
stupid questions, get stupid answers.
Glad we are on the same page for both Gudrun and Ezekiel.
Is it good, Ren? You could have. You know what? It's fine. I could have given you a question, but that's okay.
You were busy having a moment in your brain.
It's over now. It's fine.
Alright, there you go. That was sent in Roll20 so the recording could see.
Love those brain moments.
Well, that was a lot. Sorry, the follow-up question. Don't get.
You got cut off.
You just cut in and out.
Okay, I'll repeat my question. Is booze allowed in the library?
You see he pulls out a cup of his own.
Would you like some soup?
I think I will stick with this, and he downs his horn of mead.
I heard if you mix mead with mayonnaise, it's a good combination.
I will trust you on that, Master Dwarf, but perhaps another time.
Are you sure? I got plenty of it. You should try it.
I am sure.
Okay, more for me.
Good solid conclusion there. Don't have to share, haha.
Tobias kind of walks calmly along the bookcases towards Odin, and as soon as it looks like there's a good stopping point, he'll wait for Odin to turn towards him.
Okay. Gwyn, you're skimming through everything. You put down the troll book. Almost all of these books or scrolls seem to be first-hand, tales and stories, which would make sense considering who Odin is. He does like to wander. You do find a few interesting. You find several Midgardian books that detail the various clans. It seems Odin at one point was a part of each and every single clan on Midgard. And you're scouring through books. You do come across a section that is entirely dedicated to the various magics of each realm.
Oh, dive headfirst in there. Bam.
of course, Helheim, necromancy. Midgard, what's the evocation? Asgard is everything. Each realm seems to have its own unique form of magic specific for those realms. When in Muspelheim, you read that spells, for out-of-game terms, spells that deal cold damage are more effective as they have a greater effect against the heat, but the reverse, whenever you're in a place like, Niflheim or somewhere that's really cold, fire magic has a greater effect. So not only does each realm have its own unique specialty, each realm has its own unique counter.
Oh. What's the realm of the dwarves?
I will get back to you on that.
Sure. Yeah, she will spend all the time learning as many different versions that are available in each realm, so she can be prepared, especially being a Order of the Scribe wizard. This is super useful for her to know.
So jot down that each realm's effective magic and counter magic, because that is a legitimate thing within this book. Each realm has magics that work better or work less depending on what realm you're in, which I have not been doing, but I've given it to you now, which we will be doing.
Got it, cool.
And eventually, Odin would turn towards you, Tobias, seeing you waiting.
I have but one more question, Allfather. With the icy crows, there seems to be a tradition and a phenomenon where powerful casters within our ranks rise up to become one of 3 pillars. My own mother went through these trials and did not make it through. And while I wonder what happened to her, Heimdall has given me insight into coming to terms with and perhaps naturally running into the mystery that's before me. What I wish to know is that, looking at Gwen, if she were to rise up the ranks of the Icy Crows, is there anything that I can do to prevent the same fate from befalling her?
Well, Odin obviously hears Gudrun's grumbling. It's Odin. Let's be real here. And he does say, you were owed one answer, but my library is vast, so I can give you this. And he walks to a section of the library, plucks out a book, and hands it to you. And it is an entire book dedicated to the history and tales of the essentially the Icy Crow tribe leaders, or the trio, I believe they are. It is a word that is so hard to pronounce. It's like the Mimindir or something. They are the heads of everything.
It's the 3 pillars, I think, when they translate it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so he gives you the book. And if you begin, flipping through the pages, it tells you the history. The heads of the heads are chosen. There seems to be a lot of history of, one could say, backstabbing within the book. When people are nominated, some might not take liking to that, or the current of the pillars might not want a certain someone. So it seems while the Icy Crows and the pillars are wise leaders, it also seems that when they're in power, they like to stay in power.
I see. I think a morbid curiosity would kind of scratch at the back of Tobias's mind, and I think he'll continue reading for as long as we're allowed here, until, you know, it's time to go.
Give me a history check, Tobias.
Okay. History check. Character sheet first. Alright, history check. Boop.
Okay. I definitely should have said this. I promise you this isn't pity. I was going to say roll with advantage because you're literally reading the book.
Okay. Yeah, I'll roll with advantage then.
So, yeah, roll again. That's not better.
It's alright. Dice tell stories too.
Dice do tell stories. Okay. You don't remember exactly who's on the... who the three pillars are.
Oh, you know, I do have an oracle dice that I can roll.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that might help. Okay, 16.
Okay,
That's a lot
16.
better.
With help from the book and your own memory. Another thing you do remember is that the pillars are an age range. Young, old, and then the in-between.
Yeah.
You may not have encountered one, but you've certainly encountered someone close to one in the past, and that being the son of the very first leader that you ever helped within this campaign, Alrecker. His son is one of the three pillars at only 8 years of age. And so you would know that obviously Gwyn would be in line. Should she train and get up to that, she would be in line for the middling position, should that person not be capable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll continue reading to see if there's anything that I should look out for, what to do, you know? Since it is a historical documentation.
You get the feeling that the eldest of the three would probably be the one to put up the most, what's the word? Not fight, but aversion to...
Resistance
Yeah.
or something like that. Okay.
So while you're reading, while Gwyn's looking through everything, is Gudrun just grumbling, or does she want to do something?
She's having some soup and sitting in the corner. No, I think, like, out of character, I actually kind of love the response of its fate, and I don't actually want any answers. In character, Gudrun's just pouting.
Of course. Of course.
So.
How about
Just
Ezekiel?
imagine a little old lady in a corner pouting with some soup.
With some soup, okay. How about Ezekiel?
Well, Ezekiel's just kind of moseying around, looking at stuff, cursorily glancing at the books and such. If anything piques his eye, he'll take a gander at it, but otherwise he's just hanging out.
You want to roll me an investigation?
I can do that. 20.
20. Okay. You find... Okay, I'm gonna let you pick. Do you want the serious option or the comedy option?
Oh, I feel like I've had a lot of serious lately, so let's go with the comedy option. I'm down for the comedy option.
You find a book on divine food recipes.
That is the shit. That is the witch's tits. I'm gonna go ahead and pocket that.
Okay. And then give me perception.
17.
17. Odin doesn't seem to mind that you've taken it.
Good, because I ain't giving it up.
As everyone is looking through their books, as Ezekiel's getting excited for divine recipes.
You see Ezekiel going, oh, mama. You just hear various phrases coming from Ezekiel as I'm just like huddled over this book, trying to keep it out of sight.
As Gudrun's grumbling in the corner eating soup.
Maybe Gudrun like grabs the closest book to her and just like starts flipping through it just to feel included.
Yes, of course.
She picks up the book of life. She picks up the book that has the secrets in it. She just can't fucking read.
It's actually the book that details Gudrun's life.
Yeah.
But it's like told from the point of view of like a book of stories, and she doesn't recognize that any of it's her.
Yeah.
Huh? What are these words?
Once upon a time, there was a hottie.
Tobias is reading the history
Can't be me.
of the Pillars of the Icy Crow. Gwen's just on the other side of the library. So I think probably Ezekiel, Tobias, and Gudrun would be the ones to notice. One of the two birds that Odin keeps, Hugin and Munin, flies in, lands on his shoulder, and seemingly whispers something into his ear. And Odin pipes up, loud enough for everyone to hear, even for Gwen on the other side of the room, and says, "Oh, this shall be fun. It seems we have all been invited to a ceremony."
You get invited to things? I thought you do the inviting most of the time. Well, you're like king inviter.
That would normally be correct, but this seems to be a special occasion.
Well, so ain't she the god of all knowing? Why do you gotta have like a physical messenger bird to come tell you tell you about things? I thought you gave up an eye for the whole all knowing thing. So don't you already know? Is that? I'm confused about how gods work.
Well, my birds act as my missing eye, if you will. They scour the realms and come back with even more knowledge.
More knowledge than all knowledge?
It is always good to have knowledge, young dwarf.
Alright, well, where's the invite to? Spit it out.
We shall be heading underneath the falls of Asgard to a secret cave. If you are all ready, we shall head there soon.
I mean, I got what I came here for. I got more than what I came here for.
I'm not done reading.
Where's Gwen? I gotta show her something here. Wait, Gwenny! Gwenny!
We're being summoned.
We're here.
Gwenny! Gee, Win!
But books, Tobias.
Oh, Gwen! Look at this book. Speaking of books, Tobias, do you want to see this? Look, it is a book of divine recipes. There's a whole section on soup, and if I just keep flipping the pages, it keeps going. It's like an infinite soup section.
Oh, that's amazing. And Gwen's just like huddled over.
Look, there's a whole section on mayonnaise. I didn't even know there was so many names for making mayonnaise.
You have her enthralled so much with this book, you could probably lead her straight back to Odin. She wouldn't realize it.
Come on, there's more books over here. I found something peculiar.
Oh my god, show me.
Yeah.
What is ramen? Alright, anyways, we're being summoned.
I don't know, but it looks like it has so many different ingredients, and I cannot understand the vast majority of them.
Some friends. We should go.
What is MSG?
On the other side, Odin looks down at you, Gudrun, while the others are on the other side of the room, and says, "Despite knowing your story, I am impressed that you are the calm one in this situation."
Wait, despite or what? I don't even know my story. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
It will all be revealed in time, I'm sure of it.
Oh, Gwen. While you're distracted looking at books, you want to have a sip of something unique?
Sure, books. Give me books. And she
Right, okay.
sticks out a
Here,
hand.
Might I remind,
here you
we
go.
have been summoned to a ceremony.
And I'll say it's better if you take a big gulp, and I will hand you meadanaise. And I don't know if you will drink the meadanaise, but I am going to hand you meadanaise.
Yeah, I'm too focused on the books. I'll just down it. I'm gonna roll a d10, see if I like.
Meadanaise. It's
Not
not bad. I told you it's creamy.
Yeah, not bad. Not
Gwen
bad.
is very stubborn when it comes to vast repositories of knowledge. Is it possible to take one book with us to the ceremony? We intend to return it, of course.
You are more than welcome. I was getting ready to pick both of them up.
I would not stop you, nor would I be able to.
Now, if you all shall follow me. And he begins walking out of the library.
Gwen will snag a book from like whatever is on the shelf and just stick her nose in it, and basically, with her book in one hand reading it and her other hand on the back of Tobias, she follows them out.
There's no Norse translation for green eggs and ham, unfortunately.
Oh dang!
Alright. You leave the hall and begin making your way out and down one of the various falls to where you find a secret entrance behind some caves.
Oh, you beat me to it.
I was trying to sing it so quietly.
Where you go through the waterfall, and at the end of the pathway, you see, I will change maps in but a moment, there's a long pathway which leads to this pond-like area. At the end of the pathway, you see none other than the trickster god Loki, dressed in rather fine clothing. He's no longer...
still hot?
Well, maybe even more so, as he is dressed in fine clothing. He's no longer wearing his usual robes, but more gilded and fine attire. And... one moment. I have to find another bit. You see that next to him stands a much shorter figure. There is a woman dressed in green clothing of all kinds, velvet, satin, silks, a beautiful outfit. Her hair put up in a complicating looking arrangement that is practically bright burning green of color, as they both turn and look back at the party. And as you see the figure at the end of the pathway next to Loki, what does Astrid look like now?
Astrid looks much the same as always. Very pissed and with very, very bright green hair. And as soon as she sees Gwen, she's going to attempt to run to her.
And you are able to. You begin running down this pathway. And Loki doesn't stop you. He's just standing at the edge of this pathway as you begin running down, and I will begin moving you until you join the Roll20. And what does everyone do when they see this? Does anyone snap Gwyn out of her book going?
I kind of just
Good.
take a hold of her chin and her forehead and like tilt her up. Astrid's here.
Astrid's here? Astrid's here! And she snaps out of it and tugging the book under one arm, she's gonna run up to meet Astrid. And just jump at her.
Yeah, and Astrid's doing the same thing, so it might be, just kind of slam.
So I'm hearing bludgeoning
Almost
damage.
Oh, I thought it was more like the frolicking and the
Yeah,
sword
it is.
running
It is
towards
in
each
slow
other.
mo. It is definitely in
Of
slow
course.
mo.
Slow-mo, thank you.
Yeah.
Slow motion impact for sure.
So Astrid is hugging Gwen really, really hard, and the first thing she says is, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
I'm okay. We fought Valkyries, and I got to see Odin's library, and I even have a book. So,
Okay.
Are you okay?
Been better, but listen, you just have to trust me. What's about to happen? Please just trust me, okay?
Not to interrupt, but Astrid, you do feel a familiar flock to your side, but you look over and Pocky looks a little different.
What does Pocky look like?
So you look over, and where you imagine to see a bird, initially the yellow, the color's the same, but Pocky is no longer a bird necessarily. You look over, and you see what looks to be a yellow, burlap sack that
What the
seems to
heck?
be draped over bird bones with two rocks put where the holes for eyes are, and it flies into your hair and goes, "Mommy."
God. Yeah, and Astrid it's a very ornate hairdo with gems in it. All of them emeralds or anything else that's green. And so she's batting at her hair and going, "What? I thought that okay.
Pocky.
I thought that I was, pretty much okay seeing anything, but okay. Anyway, just trust me, okay? Can you trust me?"
Of course. Can I do an insight check on her to make sure she's not being controlled?
You certainly can.
Do I
They're
get to
just
do
gonna-
it with advantage because it's Gwen? And she's looking
Yeah.
at Astrid that she's known for so long.
Gudrun's gonna lean up to Ezekiel and be like, "Thanks for giving her something that she's gonna not like to see more than me."
It's
Don't worry.
it's a very much hard to tell if she is charmed, but I feel like from what we agreed upon, Astrid, there's very much more influence of Loki.
Yeah, influence in the sense that they're wearing matching clothing, more or less. And Astrid's hair is, in fact, completely green.
And as you're looking at Astrid, Odin walks up a little bit and says, Loki, what is the meaning of this? And from down the corridor, Loki barks.
Go figure.
Not that out of place.
You know what? With his animal forms, you're not wrong. But Loki says, well, Allfather, a marriage pact, of course. Only fitting to have you an audience.
Wait. What? Gwen looks really confused looking down at Loki. By down, I mean off in the distance. He's way bigger than her.
But for perspective, maybe he looks down. Small, anyhow.
And Astrid is just gripping Gwen's hand so tight that it's, she's got the white knuckles going.
Ah, yes, you see, we have come to quite a lovely arrangement, me and Astrid here. And I think it will benefit most all of us greatly at the end of this ceremony.
Gwen looks at Astrid, looks at Loki, and then looks at Astrid. She's trying to get a read on, how much Astrid thinks this is gonna work in her favor.
Right. Just I did the best I could. Okay? Just trust me. I think it's gonna be alright. And if it's not, it won't hurt you.
Will it hurt you?
It depends on your definition of hurt, which is part of the idea. It might be that the definition of hurt is a little bit subjective.
Gwen lets out a small sigh and peeks back down to Loki and says, "Did you at least ask her dad?"
That's what Astrid actually does.
He just gives a smirk. Just a devious Loki smirk in response.
He's not allowed to talk to my dad anymore. Or at least, he won't be once we get this done.
Was he the one influencing your dad?
Guess who my stepmom was?
Ew.
Okay. Let's get this over with. And Astrid walks back to stand with Loki.
As you walk back, and as everyone else witnesses, it is a very quick ceremony. The highlights would include Loki, oh boy, and I read up on this. He does offer you, does give you a, one of those arm rings, as well as a nicely wrapped sword.
Yep.
Those being some of the highlights. It is very quick. This whole ceremony does seem to have the vibe of let us get this over and done with. But Loki is certainly what's the word? He's
asshole.
Well, yes, he is living up this moment. He's certainly he's milking it. He is milking the moment.
Yeah.
Despite being a short moment. He's definitely taking his time. Like when he goes to put the arm ring on, he is deliberately like holding your hand at like a slow angle for you to have to reach up more to him. He is very much milking this moment.
So when he hands Astrid the sword, she says, "If is me taking this part of the arrangement? I mean, is this part of the ceremony?" And she's actually addressing Odin more than Loki.
Odin would pipe up and say, "Well, from my knowledge, it is certainly a part of your Midgardian weddings."
Okay, well, this is not a Midgardian wedding. And she takes the sword and tosses it into the water.
Loki looks at you with a smirk on his face. Not one of displeasure. And he says, "That is about what I expected. Now, shall we call it done, my dear?"
I think we need some signatures, do we not?
Oh yes, Odin, would you like to come forth?
And you promised me Freya. And Astrid gestures to Gwen to come to her.
Unfortunately, she is quite busy in her own realm. I'm sure you can find your way to her, no problem.
Well, that's a shame, Loki, because this contract isn't valid until she signs it.
She will sign it. I keep my promises.
So Astrid hands a very ornate piece of vellum to Gwen, and it is the contract, which I have for funsies linked in our chat because Pi and I had a good time.
Oh yes. We went back and forth making a contract.
Oh man.
It's so good. I'm not a lawyer, but it's so good.
Go insurance, my lawyer.
And so Gwen, you are the person that one of the people that Astrid has picked to sign this as a witness.
Okay.
And if you actually do want to take your time to read it, Odin would do what is required. He would sign the piece of paper. And you want to give me an insight, Astrid?
Sure.
Odin does not look concerned, but you definitely catch a glance here and there from his one good eye between you and Loki, almost in a questioning type of look, but he still does go through with signing it.
Okay. Who was it? Was it Loki that said that Freya was busy, or was it Odin that said that Freya?
Loki said that Freya was
Okay.
busy in another realm, but that she
Okay.
will sign it.
Okay. Allfather, may I address you?
Yes, you may, young Astrid.
What is your knowledge of where the good goddess Freya is at the moment?
He's gonna hit you with a one moment, please. Please hold.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I do have this knowledge. Ah, yes, of course. She is currently on Vanaheim, but Odin is more than welcome to send one of his ravens to deliver, if that is asked of him.
To deliver this contract?
Yes. As his ravens can travel between realms.
With all due respect, someone signing a contract to witness should certainly be here in person.
Well, I can certainly send Hugin or Mjolnir right away.
I would be most grateful.
you see one of the ravens already on his shoulder, whispers something to them, and they fly off through the waterfall and disappear.
And Astrid actually steps away from Loki and, like, comes over onto this side of Gwen and is grabbing her hand again. And she's actually shaking just a little bit. Have you been safe? Have you been all right?
I have. I mean, the Valkyries were kind of tough, but we came out of it better than I think any of us really anticipated. But
Good,
Astrid,
good.
Astrid, you do realize that in Loki Section 1D, you don't have anything listed for if you were to do anything to mentally change the children.
I know. I have some ideas about how that's going to work, and I think I can get around that. But I didn't want to fight with him too much about that. I was hoping he wouldn't see it.
So, contract being signed?
If they're in my care, does he still have access to the kids?
Let's talk about this later.
No, we have to talk about this now. If it is not written in stone, it can be altered.
Can we talk in our minds? Do that.
Sure, and I will cast message to Astrid.
Okay.
I don't want him to overhear before this all gets signed. If it doesn't say he can, he can't.
I don't think that's how this works.
The Mimir will decide, and there's more of them than on his side for a vote. Everywhere there might be a dispute that can't be settled and has to be mediated, we have more votes.
All right, I have some ideas that may be able to help in the future, but it requires a lot more studiage from me that I'm more than willing to take on, but it's going to take me a little while to get it under wraps. I'm working on bettering myself in a different sense, but
Listen, we can work on it together. I think we can do it. And I tell you what, how about up until then, I don't have any children.
As the two of you are having this conversation in your heads, I do not have a token, unfortunately, but you all notice the water at the edge begins to shift and bubble as a visage of Freya appears at water's edge. And she seems rather bored. She has a look of boredom on her face as she looks at everyone and says, "And what was I summoned for?"
Astrid turns and raises her eyebrow at Odin.
Odin, give me an insight with advantage. Odin has this look of like he like almost gives you like a shrug, like this is the best we're gonna do outside of just going to Vanaheim.
Okay. Astrid kneels and says, Divine Goddess, I request that you signed this contract on my behalf. Or at the very least, in the spirit of witnessing whether or not you actually approve.
She holds out almost an ethereal hand to look at the contract. And assuming you give it to her,
Yes.
she is able to hold it, and she is very she's reading through it, and she definitely pipes up at a few times to say things like, Loki, really? Okay. Another? And Loki just has a smug ass face. But as she's reading through it, she would sign it, as that is what she's been summoned for.
Mm-hmm. And does she hand it back?
She would hand it back.
Okay. Before you go, Goddess, may I have a word?
You may.
Freya, do you recognize me?
She looks at you, and she says, I do believe I know of you, or at most who your kin are.
Do you recall that I have worshipped you since I have been old enough to make that choice? Can you look in my heart and see that, Freya?
I am not even... Well, I do have her stat block. I'm not even going to make a roll. I feel like it feels like a waste to make a roll for any of the gods, as they would... I mean, all of their stats are like 20s.
Yeah.
So... Her response is very much to the point, and it is very much, you know... I do see that you are one of my devout.
Does it trouble you at all that one of your most devout is now bound by contract to Loki?
She shifts her eyes to Loki and says, Whatever the god of mischief is up to, it is none the best for anyone. And then she looks back at you and says, I do wish you the best, young child.
It's a bit late for that, Freya. This did not have to happen. I called out to you so many times, begging you to mediate for me, to escape this god. I called out to all the gods. And she turns and looks at Odin, and none of you answered. So, if you think this is going to go terribly wrong, if you think it shouldn't have happened, I bid you remember you have yourselves to blame. And then she turns her back on Freya and starts walking down the corridor.
As you begin moving, Gwyn, since you're still standing there, can you give me an insight check, please?
Sure. 8. I am insighty.
It is hard to glean the looks of the gods, as by default, their faces show no reaction. Freya disappears. She is gone from the water. Loki still stands there with a smirk on his face. However, to everyone in the room, and surpassing your speed, Astrid, as you move down the pathway, almost shaking the ground with his movements, Odin is moving with an odd fury to his gait, as eventually he is gone from the room.
I would ask for an insight check, but that seems to be self-explanatory.
You can still give one if you wish.
Okay.
Anyone as well?
Sure. Wow! Both of you immediately understand this is not an anger towards Astrid. Not whatsoever. While Astrid may be mad at the gods right now, it seems
The
that
gods are pissed off too.
it seems that the gods are pissed off too.
I'm gonna say this for the record so that maybe in the future I can cash in an advantage, but like Tobias suspects that Loki meddled in Astrid's communication with the gods.
And as you think that, Tobias, Loki says, well, now, I do think this went splendid. I have elsewhere to be. But we shall be meeting each other once more in the future, I am sure of it. And he, with a poof of smoke, is also gone. He's basically, I have people to see, places, people to see, places to be,
Right.
you know.
With both Odin, with Odin and Freya and Loki gone, Astrid just goes and just pretty much drops to her knees.
Gwen just stares at the contract that has probably been passed back to her because she still hasn't signed it yet, and just says to Astrid, "He's gone now. Tell me what's going on before I sign this."
How long have I been gone?
How long has she been gone?
Timeline wise, let's see. You
5
spent
days?
Yeah, you've been in Asgard for close to a week before about because you were here, Astrid, way before the party arrived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Astrid's been here for a good chunk of close to a week.
Or a bit more. Something like that, yeah.
Maybe a week?
That's all. Ah. Oh, wow, that's all. It's a lot longer. So, I've been, as far as I can tell, sitting at a table with Loki, hammering out this contract so that he would let me leave his hall. And there's some things I can't talk about because the bargaining was very specific and we might have been moving back and forth in time. I'm not really sure.
Can you be, so you can't be specific, but can you, like, be compelled to be specific?
I don't think so. I think that would... I think that would negate the contract in a way that I don't particularly want.
Okay. Just saying. It's on the table. It probably won't work anyway.
But thanks. But thanks. And oh, you're still here?
I am still here. I witnessed the whole thing. Saw you sign your contract. It seems the gods have chained another.
Yeah, you can put it that way. So all I can tell you, and I will swear on whatever you want me to swear on, this is better than it could be, and I think you should sign it.
I've seen worse contracts that Gudrun has just been like no one ever gave it to Gudrun, but Gudrun's just kind of been like leaning over her shoulder, kind of read it.
Oh, you're still here too.
Oh, don't be like that. Gudrun's been all with us the entire time, really helping us out here.
I've been here the whole time.
Thank you, Sam Rice.
Honestly, Sam Reich and Gudrun have the same amount of chaotic energy.
I feel like you do, actually. So Astrid's just narrowing her eyes at Gudrun.
Gudrun's the secret, unknown Norse god that no one knows about.
Gudrun glares right back at you for some reason she doesn't quite understand.
Okay, cool.
But she's glaring right back.
Astrid, how do you intend to not have children with a god?
I don't have to.
What do you mean you don't have to?
Did you not see that clause?
It was a good clause.
In my section, number 2A.
Yeah, the contract says she doesn't need to consummate the marriage.
While I love that detail, We are dealing with a god.
I know.
Consummation is not required.
What? In character confusion. Out of character confusion.
Zero
we
just
have-
turned his head and looked directly at me when I said that.
Listen, that's 100% correct. Out of character.
Well, to be fair, we're not dealing with a Zeus, alright? Just think
Right.
of the bright side. We're not dealing with no Zeus. I mean,
Also-
it's Loki, but no Zeus.
And historically, I mean, not to take this into a specific direction, but Loki doesn't seem to be into the two-legged kind, as far as I can understand. They either have no legs or many more than 2 legs. So
Sometimes 8.
sometimes 8, sometimes 4. So I think you're in the clear so long as you don't grow any more legs.
You're also bypassing the giant that he had the 3 children with, including Hel, who we almost accidentally met.
Okay, fine.
Fenrir, who's somewhere around on Midgard, and then Jormungandr, who's circling Midgard.
Okay, listen, fine. So he has a thing for the big ladies, but that's not or big men too. So, but still stands. You are not his type. So there you go.
No, I think. I believe me, I'm gonna make it as difficult as I possibly can.
I don't think I make that difficult. I don't think. I genuinely don't think he's into you.
I hope
Did-
you're right.
Did you?
Out of character, just out of character, needs to be said. Pi and I, 100,000,000,000% agree that this is not gonna get weird.
Well, yeah, I figured this is Ezekiel
Yeah. No,
being Ezekiel.
just so y'all know, this is not gonna get creepy. So.
Okay, that's
Yes.
totally fine. But Gwen is gonna have a follow-up question.
No.
that's gonna be-
Which These are all perfectly good questions.
Did you give him anything of yours that could be duplicated?
No,
A strand of hair, saliva, a tear. A fingernail clipping.
absolutely not. I was incredibly careful about that, Gwen. I promise you. Look, he didn't even scrape skin off me when he put this armband on. The
And that's
armband
a ju-
is very
that's just a-
beautiful, by the way.
That's just a giant ring. I don't tell you.
Yeah, it is. I know.
That's the ring. That's the ring finger ring of a giant. So probably took that off of another old wife or phrase.
I'm certainly not the only one. I'm well aware.
Okay.
Would you like soup?
You should try. You should try this drink that he has. It's actually.
Oh
not
yes,
bad.
try this drink.
Okay,
Not bad.
I am extraordinarily thirsty and hungry.
Sweet, here you go.
Okay, it galls her, but she says thank you.
All right,
Okay,
roll
whatever.
d10.
And
Roll d10.
Okay.
The meat and eggs isn't actually as bad as it looks.
It's actually pretty good.
3. It is not great. This one doesn't mix very well.
No,
It is.
This one didn't mix very well.
It is. Oh, and I hate that I'm describing this. It's gonna make me gag. It is a curdled mix of mead and mayonnaise.
oh my god.
And every time someone mentions this, a part of me does not like it. And I just made it even worse.
Gwen will snatch it from you and down it.
We all in real life take a point of psychic damage from thinking.
No
gotta-
kidding.
You have to gulp it in one go.
No.
You can't just sip it. You got to mix it together in the mouth. You got to swish it around.
He just takes a spoonful of it and just like power move takes a bite while Astrid is gagging at it.
Oh, I'm gonna start giving negative levels.
Here's how you drink it. You put it in the mouth and you swish it.
No, Astrid just
in the
spits
cup
out
and
what's in her
down it.
mouth. And she's actually like clawing at her tongue with her fingernails to get the slime.
This is all you need to do. You just need to swish it and down it. Watch, and Gwen does it, and then hands the cup back.
Please, for
Pass to Ezekiel.
for the sake of your DM, who's about to boil over. Let's move on from this horrid.
That's alright. I'm out now anyway. I think Gudrun drank the rest of it while I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Gwen will end the conversation with just very softly, actually, speaking into Astrid's mind again and say, have you considered ways of making him say when the time comes? Why did the turn order just show up?
I
don't know
I
how.
meant to click dice, not turn order. I'm so sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, are we fighting Astrid? What the fuck?
No. I'm
initiative.
just
She's level 20, guys.
I'm just dishing out some revenge. 10 points of damage to Ezekiel and Tobias.
Ah! My eye!
Ouch.
Rude! My eye!
Rude.
To be fair, DM, it was in another campaign.
I don't care. You mention it, it's bad. Alright, go on, Gwen and Astrid.
Okay. And Astrid whispers back psychically, that point is very important. And it has my best opportunity to get around him. And I'm not going to say any more than that because I do not want to take the chance that he is listening right now.
Gwen just nods and she will sign the paper with her full name, Guinevere Reese.
Can we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we need to figure out why Odin took off. That's very unlike the composed man that we saw earlier. But look, I have a book! It's from Odin's library! And like her whole tone changes because she's just like, she's had this book like hooked under her arm for so long.
So Astrid gets up and is kind of, she's got her arms wrapped around one of Gwen's and says, okay, show it to me, but let's walk. Please.
Okay, look, so I started reading, and she'll just, like, backpedal and basically give, like, the synopsis of what she had read before, and if they're still walking to wherever they're going, she will just start reading the book out loud to Astrid as they're walking.
Okay.
Give me... I would like a, dexterity saving throw from both Astrid and Gwen.
No! Hi, let me leave.
you just read this book.
Let me leave.
6.
Mine is not going through. Come on now.
Yeah, mine isn't either, so I just went to rolling the skills
Yeah.
will roll. And
You know what? My saving throws weren't working on Sunday either on D&D Beyond. I think there's a thing.
Well, we're going to
That's what was
dice.
going on.
Well, I will roll my 20. That's not working either. Neat. Okay, let me...
If you have a real dice, you could roll a real dice.
Yeah, I do, but then I would have to get from the table.
Oh.
I mean, from my...
Oh, that's very good.
Yes, it is.
Astrid, as you guys are walking out and you go beyond the waterfall,
I have advantage too, but that's fine. I'll take this.
you are able to, as Gwyn is nose deep in her book and telling you all about it, you are able to quickly stop her as she almost walks off the edge of Asgard.
Okay. Get back. I just yank her back, and I'm holding onto her arm even tighter now. This way, this way, this way, this way, this way.
Okay, you lead, I'll read.
Okay.
And
That's cute. I have to cross-stitch that up.
you're all able to
It's good to have you back, Astrid.
go back the way you came and hit
Thank you, Tobias.
the fields
And-
of Asgard.
Astrid comes over and just hugs Tobias real quick, and then goes back to Gwen.
Gives you a hug, gives you a pat on the back.
And as you all ascend back to the surface and fields of Asgard with Astrid in tow, where to next?
We were told that it would be what, the next day that we would head out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Odin ran off. Freya disappeared. Loki poofed. Have you eaten, Astrid?
No.
Well, the path of least resistance says, the great mess hall should be our first stop.
Shouldn't we go check on Odin? It's not like the Allfather to run off.
I mean, I'm
Odin.
pretty sure when a god storms off, he kind of wants to be alone.
Odin can take care of his own fucking self, for all I'm concerned.
All right, to the mess hall. And then she will continue to read out loud and just kind of like lean into Astrid, very obviously having missed her from not being around.
Out of character. What is this book? What is it? What is it?
I don't know. What
Okay.
book handed. I have no clue.
This would
put
be
down the troll one.
This would be your book on the magics of the various realms.
Oh, okay, so I
Oh
just
goodness,
didn't have one.
you were just given a Calculus 6 book.
Oh my god.
I thought that I would just have to memorize it in the library and then I got a different book, but I will make note that I have that one.
And
Incredible.
as you are all walking towards the mess hall, as Gwyn is just going on and on about the magics of the various realms and how one counters another, having Astrid back with the party, we're going to end the session there.
Yay,
Welcome back, Astrid.
Hi, you guys! Hi! I missed you.
Is that a new token?
It is, yes. And I'm gonna make it my other one, for the maps when I can. But that is, yes, a
And,
green-haired Astrid.
We have a green-haired Loki-influenced Astrid for next session, session 36. We shall see what happens, as not only is Astrid pissed, but the gods seem to be pissed as well.
Good.
And we shall see what comes of that. But for now, everyone say goodbye to YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Goodbye,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube. See you next time on more Journey to Ragnarok. And as always, goodbye and stay sweet.